All right, for day 2 of this stuff, okay, what we're going to do is I got one more formula for you. It's going to be what they call the discriminant. Now, what a discriminant does for us is describes what kind of solutions you're going to get. Okay, it does not solve the equation. All it does is tell you what kind of solutions you're going to get. So here's the formula for the discriminant. B squared minus 4AC. Have you seen that part before? Yes. Where is it? It's inside the square root. Correct. So here's what they're going to ask you to do. They're going to ask you to find the discriminant, which is a number. Okay? That number that you get will tell us how many different types of solutions you're going to have. Okay? If that number, b squared minus 4ac, is greater than 0, what kinds of numbers are greater than 0? No, not everything. Positives, right. If that number is greater than 0, you will have 2 real solutions. Meaning, you'll have no i's and you'll have 2 answers. Okay? That's what that means. If the b squared minus 4ac equals 0, how many solutions are you going to have? 1. You had that yesterday on some of your problems. Some of you asked me when it was like the square root of 196 minus the square root of 196 or whatever it was. And you said, wait, that's just 0? Yes. And then we reduced it and got 7, I think, for that problem. So when you have it equal to 0, you'll have 1 real solution. What happens, or what kind of numbers are less than 0? Negatives. Think about when you had negatives. What type of solutions did you have? The I solutions. And how many should you always have with the I's? 2. I's come in pairs. So you'll have 2 imaginaries. Okay? So for that particular thing, just so that you guys are aware of it, all you're going to do is find the number. And then based on that number, if it's a positive answer, you should have 2 reals. If it's 0, you'll have 1 real. And if it's negative, you'll have 2 imaginaries. That's what they're going to ask you to tell me. They're going to say, find the discriminant and describe the solutions. Describing the solutions means 2 reals, 1 real, or 2 imaginaries. That's what it means by describing them. Okay? Now, for that same type of scenario, if you look at the graphs, to having 2 real solutions, the parabola will hit the x-axis twice. If it has 2 real solutions, it will hit the x-axis in 2 spots. Okay? That's what should happen. If it has 1 real solution, how many times will it hit it? Once. And you guys have seen that already. If I can actually hit it once. Right there. Okay? So if it only hits it in 1 spot, that's only 1 real solution. For 2 imaginaries, where's it going to hit? It's not, right? So it's going to be either above it or below it, depending on which way it's going to open. So if it does hit the x-axis twice, it does have 2 reals. If it just comes down and hits it once, it has 1 real. And if it comes down and never hits it at all, that's the imaginary solutions. So a couple of them are going to just give you the picture, and it's going to say how many solutions do you have, or what type of solutions you have. What do you think so far? Okay, so here's the way the problems are going to look. They're going to give you something like x squared minus 6x plus, what number do you want? 3 equals 0. it's going to say find the discriminant and describe the nature of the roots or the solutions. So, what number is in the B? -6 squared minus 4 times. What number is in the A? 1 times C, which is this? 3. What is -6 squared? What's -4 times 1 times 3? -12. What's 36 minus 12? 24. You just found the discriminant. Yay, team. Now, how many different types of solutions is it going to have? 2 reals. And done. It does not say solve the equation. It just says find the discriminant and describe the types of solutions. You did that. Great job. What do you think? Tamara, what? If it's a positive whatever, it's 2 reals. If it's equal to 0, it's 1 real. If it's a less than, like a negative number, then it's 2 imaginaries.
Wait, so like equal to 0, you mean like instead of
It would
4,
It would be 0, right. Like yesterday you had an answer it had 14 plus or minus square root of 196 minus 196, which was 0. Yep, that was 1 real solution. So what do you think? Good. Now the last kind of problems that you're going to have today, just so that you know, that's the majority of them. Okay? Then you have 2 different types like this. You have h equals -16t squared plus ho. Or you have h equals, I'll move in just a second, Savannah, plus VOT plus HO. Okay? What these 2 types of scenarios are, these are motion problems, which means trajectory, which means all that kind of stuff. Like if I were to throw a ball at Amanda, it's going to make a parabola motion. This is the formulas on how to get them. This HO stands for the height object is dropped. Okay? Or the object, the height that the object starts at. So for instance, if I threw a ball right now at Amanda, whatever my height is when I release it. So this is about 6 feet because I'm 5'11". So by the time it's about 6 foot. So that's where that will go in the HO. Okay? That first one is for when you drop it. So if I were to take a ball and just drop it, that's what this one's doing. Okay? On the bottom one, the VO stands for the velocity, which would be if I threw the ball, then it has velocity. Okay? If I just drop something, that's the first equation. But if I throw something, that's the second equation. They're going to give you those numbers. You're not going to have to find VO and HO. They're going to give you those. So VO is standing for the velocity. And O just means the initial. Okay? So when you read the problem, they're going to give you those numbers. You insert those numbers, and then you solve the problem. Okay? So if you look at on page 129 and 128. On 63, for instance, it says, in a volleyball game. So if you've ever played volleyball before or watched it, a player on one team spikes the ball over the net where the ball is 10 feet above the court. So what is that in my problem?
That's the
Height. It said 10 feet above, so therefore that's my height. That's my HO. Okay? The spike drives the ball downward with an initial velocity of 55 feet per second. So where does that go? That goes in the VO. So which problem are we referring to? The second one or the first one? The second one, because we have a velocity. We're not just dropping the ball. Okay? We're actually hitting it with force, so therefore it's moving fast downward. How much time does the opposing team have to return the ball before it touches the court? So you're solving for T. Okay? So we're going to throw that in there. Use the quadratic formula. Done. Okay? So on those types of problems like that, that's what you're going to have to set out to do. The majority of the problems look just like this one. They look just like that. Majority of them, that's what you have to do. Do you want to do another one like that?
No.
Then the second type, and there's only like one of them, you got to plug the numbers in and then solve. Which, use the quadratic formula. You have it now. So starting on page 127, and going to 129er. (20 to 34) evens. 59 and 63. Now, just to read you the directions, on 20 to 26, it says find the discriminant of the quadratic equation and describe the number and type of solutions of the equation. That is what we did when we got 24, and then we said it was two real solutions.
That has to just be equal to 0, right?
Huh?
That should be equal to 0, right?
It has to be equal to 0. Right, in the initial problem. Zach, good. And then on 28, it's a multiple choice question. 30 and 32 says use the discriminant to match what type of graph it could be. 34 is asking you to tell me what did they do wrong. Then on 59 and 63, those are trying to get you to find x. How do you get 59, by the way, when it's a rectangle? What's the area of a rectangle formula? So you multiply those together, set it equal to the area, subtract it over, use quadratic formula.